I told you guys this wasn't gonna be anything like the last video I made, which I guess is like something that you guys enjoy or something. Like maybe. I don't know. Like 3 months after I make that video, it's pretty dormant, and then all of a sudden, bam, here's all these 50 subscribers. And now it's been 3 months since I hit 100, and now I'm here. So I guess I'll give you guys like more content or something, maybe, if I can get around to it. So you guys are like, oh, we want the dog video. Give us the dog video. Give like a dog video is really funny and cool. And I'm like, oh, you guys like the things that I make? Let me make something completely different. Even though like these guys already do like video essays and game reviews like way better than I ever will. Then again, like me making money off of YouTube, who says that'll ever happen? I mean, I didn't think it was gonna happen at all in the first place, but you know, I don't know. I just figured I'd make more things. If you can't tell, I'm not going off a script. Well, I am, but reading sucks, so I don't do it. So I guess we're gonna be talking about Call of Duty or something. So if you're looking here, which I'm probably gonna put it up on the screen. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this. Whatever, it'll be fine. Which is basically my motto for all this shit. I mean, I play some Call of Duty. I mean, we got some Call of Duty that gets played. Yeah, I have Black Ops 4. I bought this. But if we're gonna be talking about Call of Duty, I might as well give you like some backstory on how Call of Duty and I have been. I was planning on actually starting this video. I wanted to make this video and like have it be out before Cold War got released, because that's when I initially had the idea of making it. But I mean, we're in season 3 of that now, so there goes that idea. But I mean, procrastinating on a video is in college, I guess, is better than procrastinating on assignments. Anyway, so even though Cold War is out, I might as well talk about Modern Warfare. But again, yeah, so you can see I play a fair amount of Call of Duty. Call of Duty 2, which is literally Jesus. Probably have literally Jesus on the screen right here. Because it was my first one. The first one I ever played. I don't know if it's because I don't know if I like it the most because it's the first one I played, but it was, I don't know, it was also the first shooter that I ever played because my dad bought it for me when I was like 9. So Dad, if you're watching, thanks. Also, don't comment on the video because your account has our last name on it. But I've actually been trying to get off this crazy annual release train since Modern Warfare 3 came out, and Modern Warfare 3 was basically the equivalent of United Offensive with how COD 1 was, where they're like, it's just an expansion. Yeah, it's just an expansion of Call of Duty 1, which is basically what Modern Warfare 3 was to Modern Warfare 2. So after Modern Warfare 3, I was like, Modern Warfare 3 sucks. I'm not gonna do this. But then Black Ops 2 came out and was like, good. Oh God. So I went into Ghost's reveal thinking it was gonna be like, yeah, this is alright. It's pretty. I thought it was gonna be awesome, and I mean, it was, for like the marketing. But as I would later come to find out during Destiny's whole thing, when that was getting revealed, that Activision like is the greatest thing ever when it comes to marketing shit. Because when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, it sucked ass. Except for like the initial premise was pretty cool and the art design was alright. And Extinction Mode was probably the best part of that game. But multiplayer of Ghosts was like shit. And it had garbage maps and rushed gameplay, and it wasn't fun. But there's people in the conversations of like the Infinite Warfare trailer being like, we were too harsh on this game. We need Call of Duty Ghosts 2. It's like, no, you don't. No. The game was bad, and then they were also like put in the weed cameras and then the Snoop Dogg voices They made me think when I was 12 years old and thought that PC was gay for having more vehicles in Battlefield 3 than the Xbox 360 did when that was out. So I was like, yeah, Call of Duty's dumb. I don't want to play it. But then Advanced Warfare got announced, and I was like, oh shit, dude, this game has graphics. And it also had pretty pedophilia Kevin Spacey in it, who at the time I only knew as the guy from that one show my dad would watch about like White Obama, and like he played cards or something, I think. But if you know me, which nobody does, because this is the first time I've done anything like this on my YouTube channel, which by the way, voice reveal. Congratulations guys, you got a voice reveal, shout out. But you'll know that I'm all in with that futuristic shit. Like got like Armored Core, Front Mission, Steel Battalion, Ace Combat. Well, like that's the stuff. That's the stuff. You hear me? I'm snapping because it's cool. So when I saw that Advanced Warfare had cool future stuff and like the exoskeletons from that Matt Damon movie, I was like, oh man, Ghosts, like, you know, a bit of a rough patch. Let's get on this. And like the campaign's cool, and it's cool because you're like doing all this cool shit for the first half, and then a bunch of garbage happens. And then Kevin Spacey's like not actually the villain, and then Sledgehammer makes him into like futuristic pedo Hitler because Call of Duty players aren't smart enough to figure out how sympathetic villains work. Okay, here's what we're doing. Okay, I'm gonna Advanced Warfare's getting its own video at some point, because it could have been really cool, but they fucked it up. Anyways, so they put new guns in the supply drops, and then they had whatever the fuck this is, and then they just that's when they started doing like pay to win loot box stuff, and also I'm like, fuck that. I'm not buying the next Call of Duty, no way. That is until the first trailer for Black Ops III dropped. Like, not even the one with gameplay, but like the Ember teaser was all I needed, with like the cybernetics, revolution, whistleblowers, and then here's not Edward Snowden talking about how the government has super technology. And the game wasn't actually like that, but I just finished playing Deus Ex Human Revolution, and I was like, cyberpunk, yeah, government conspiracies, let's do it, man. And then the reveal trailer came in and it had the painted black and the gunfire, and it's like, yeah. And it's like, yeah, they got Dempsey back, and they got all them for the zombies mode, and they got the Derice remake. You only get for paying $80. And, yeah, $80 for my parents' money. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, $80 for Derice. Let's do it. And then it's like, oh, it's just Titanfall with Destiny supers, but worse. And then they put more guns and more bullshit in the supply drops that you also pay for because you don't want to grind for fucking like 10 hours for like one rare supply drop. And then at this point, there's more DLC guns in the multiplayer than vanilla guns. But I mean, by 2015, Titanfall was already dead, so we needed a Titanfall replacement. And so, but whatever. I mean, I was fed up with Call of Duty again at this point, and I had no interest in getting the next one. But I mean, in retrospect, actually, Black Ops 2 is actually pretty good on PC, because of custom zombies and stuff, and that's pretty rad. Now, unlike everyone else, it seems, I actually thought Infinite Warfare was pretty good, and I wasn't baited into buying this. I saw the reveal trailer and I saw the space stuff was cool and I wanted to play it. I didn't get duped into this thinking that it was something that it actually wasn't. I mean, and the Modern Warfare remaster didn't hurt matters either. Like that was a good addition. I wasn't mad like everyone else was that you had to pay $80 to get both games, but like I can understand the people that didn't like Infinite Warfare. They just wanted to get Modern Warfare Remastered, and I get it. And the campaign's excellent. Like it except for the implication it's supposed to take place in one day, which is absurd. But I mean, of course, the multiplayer was bad, and it was like what World at War did to COD 4, where they just took the game, the previous game, and then put a different skin of paint over it. Except World at War was actually good. And then the zombies mode was garbage, and it shat all over Extinction. But I mean, overall, Infinite Warfare was alright. And Modern Warfare Remastered was pretty cool too. Like, yeah, they got the campaign, they got the nuke scene. The nuke scene's even better than it was. And like they added like some extra shit that got left out of the original game, and then wait, what's this? Okay. Alright, Activision, yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah, so Infinite Warfare had no players, so you just dump all the pay-to-win shit in the remaster of a game from 10 years ago because that's where everyone else is playing, and so that's where all the money is, so you just ruin that game because your original game nobody was playing. Thanks. Awesome.
Maybe you should try getting a job.
Whatever. At this point, Call of Duty was harmlessly average to me now. And the next one is by Sledgehammer Games. And Advanced Warfare was a disappointment, but I mean, what? Oh, yeah, yes, yeah.
How many casualties? We executed the mission. Get me the fuck out of here. How many? We had orders!
No.
Oh, no, no!
Alright, yeah, no. Yeah, no, screw this. I'm waiting for the next battlefield. What?
Hello, old friend.
What?
I mean, but honestly, I mean, we should have seen this coming. If Activision has no respect for staying faithful to a game that made the franchise popular in the first place, and why should I expect them to do the same thing for the deadliest conflict in human history? World War II told me to fuck right off if I actually enjoy anything good, so I didn't really have high hopes for whatever Call of Duty came after it. And surely enough, the next one's Black Ops IV with its stupid-ass, like, fucking bar logo, no campaign, and yeah, Fortnite, PUBG, Battle Royale, yeah, let's go, yeah, this isn't what I wanted at all, yeah! Yeah, no, I'm not buying it. Oh, wait, Pat of Super Best Friends and Castle Super Beast says that Black Ops is actually pretty good? I mean, well, I'm into half the shit I like nowadays because of these guys, so...
$130 the deluxe version cost.
Yeah, I'll pay that much. And it's even more shit than World War II was. Like, Pat, I love you guys, but what the fuck, man? They made Call of Duty into the fucking Avengers. What on earth am I looking at? We're finally to Modern Warfare. I didn't really expect much when I went into the trailer. But when I did watch it, I thought it was pre-rendered when they were like breaching the rooms and stuff, but it actually wasn't. And also, Zero Dark 30 was a pretty cool movie. So all that cleaning house stuff with like the quad goggles, nods and stuff, like that seemed pretty cool. But I need to see gameplay. All right, no more blind fanboying. I have to see gameplay. Gunfight gameplay. Okay. All right, let's see it. Yo, holy shit, that's fucking rad. Yeah, I'm getting it. And so here I am with this many days on Modern Warfare 2019, and all the battle passes maxed out, minus Season 2, because Ghost is a shitter, and people fanboy over him for no reason. So now it's time for me to actually get on with what I was going to talk about in this video, after 5 minutes or so of context that nobody asked for. Speaking of things that nobody asked for, sorry to all you guys who are thinking that I'm going to make more Doge, funny yellow dog content. I mean, I probably will at some point, but I just need something funny to work with. Anyway, so I guess we'll start with the campaign then. Oh, there must be some really fucked up shit in here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, I've beat this game already. Twice, actually. Why do they still have this warning here when I've beaten the game? Like, Modern Warfare 2 and 3 didn't do this. They only gave you that warning at the very beginning because they're like, oh, there's bad things. And then Black Ops games don't do this. So why do they do it now? Okay, well, hold up for just a second. I know the two of you watching this who are really interested to hear what I have to say about Modern Warfare, just waiting for me to get on with it. But I need to talk about the marketing. So everyone knows that Modern Warfare 2 had the no Russian mission. Everyone's like, oh, this mission's so messed up, oh my god. But when Modern Warfare 2019 was getting pushed, and when like that got revealed, and with the campaign and all that, all the content creators were like, dude, this campaign, it makes no Russian look like a fucking Disney movie, man. And when I heard that, I was like, well, holy shit, that's rad. But I should have had the foresight to think to myself that influencers like this when they get a door ding on one of their many expensive cars, they're like... So while I don't believe a damn thing that comes out of these guys' mouths with their clickbait thumbnails, it's like, dude, guys, go check out the dildo launcher for the new SEX-69 rifle. You can cross-map your dad with it, man. You gotta... What did make me a bit more excited was how the developers themselves were saying that they were looking at live leak footage, and they wanted to make the game as realistic as possible. And they said that, like, in the modern age of conflict, there is no black and white. It's all morally gray proxy wars now, which is true. And I was looking forward to such an experience after Medal of Honor 2010's portrayal of the war in Afghanistan had the same amount of grayness in its morality as a newspaper.
What the fuck?
So, when it comes to the rebooted Modern Warfare campaign, what do we get? We get the Russians being pretty much literal Nazis in Syria. Great. I knew that we were going to be fighting Russians in this game. That's kind of what the Modern Warfare games are known for, and I went in knowing that that wasn't a problem. What is the problem is that they were telling us there's going to be like morally gray. The conflict has such a lack of subtlety as to what side it thinks is correct that I think I'm watching a Chinese news program regarding the Wuhan virus. And this isn't even including the stuff blaming the Russians for war crimes that the US did, like the Haditha massacre and the Highway of Death. That's an entirely other thing. Now I know that the defense is that it's a rogue Russian commander being too much of a big meanie head. It's not all the Russians doing it. But they're the only Russians we encounter in the campaign. And that line is a throwaway line that's like mentioned offhandedly. And none of the Russian soldiers that we encounter really have any like upset or remorseful like attitude for the orders they're given to follow. Meanwhile, in Call of Duty 4, the literal first line of the game is that Russia's having a civil war between the loyalists and the ultranationalists. And you encounter friendly Russians and you fight alongside them, and the two Russian factions look different from each other. And when they're all put under an ultranationalist blanket, it's kind of easy to assume they're all pretty shitty people when they made the decision to join that, like, splinter group. Whereas in Modern Warfare 2019, we're led to believe that some guy fresh out of boot camp could get sent to this evil Russian unit and forced to give the wheels of the BTRs a good old waxing of the blood of local infants. Also, what are the uniforms here? Like they look great in the multiplayer. Like, they look awesome, even though they're more early 2000s Russian outfits. But I mean, we got the Gorka suit pants with the tan coloring, and that looks great. But then we've got this floral camo on the top in the middle of the desert, and then the quote-unquote BTRs here looks like something out of like a Playmobil Lego set. Like, could you really not get the licensing for the actual vehicle, like in Modern Warfare 2 and 3? Cold War has it. Look, here it is in Cold War. Cold War has an 82. Or could you at least push the copyright enforcers like a little harder to be something that looks a bit closer to what the actual vehicle looks like? Like, I know you got spooked when the Hummer got all pissed you had Humvees in Modern Warfare 2 or whatever happened there, but these look so bad. Like, the APC that's in Infinite Warfare looks closer to an actual BTR than what these look like, and that takes place like 100 years after this game at least. But we'll talk about copyright and stuff later on. You can slander the Russian military all you want, but God forbid you name a gun a certain way and make a vehicle look like how it really does and make some guy in a suit mad. But, like, literally all they needed to do was just have a bit where, like, you poke the Russian government and be like, hey, your guys are kind of doing some stuff here. You wanna... Can we take care of this together? Because it's kind of a bad look for you, and we also don't really want them doing stuff either. So, and then like they get like a special forces group to help you out, as opposed to like actual open confrontation between Russian units, because that would be like Civil War level stuff, and they want their realistic story, so they can't do that. Have more people talk about how this isn't like traditional Russian military, and then don't blame Russia for shit that we did. Like, don't even include or mention it if you don't have the balls to talk about them truthfully. Like, Battlefield 3 got that right. You just have a little drive through the Highway of Death during Thunder Run, and then you fighting the Russians was just an unfortunate turn of events as a result of what happened earlier in the story. Now I get it. Like, all-out civil war in Call of Duty 4 is like a bit different from just a particularly mean Foreign Legion brigade. But, like, still, you couldn't have, like, a differentiation in uniform like COD 4 did. Like, let Barkov's guys keep the Gorka outfits and then have them wear, like, gas masks all the time like this guy in this mission. And then take the Russian FGF skin from Season 4 and give that to the nice Russian soldiers and have them be like, here, but that fucked up shit the Barkov guy makes his unit do, or just something to make them seem different. Alright, well, let's get to the actual story. So, we've got the same nice cinematography that Infinite Warfare had, and we've got blind Osama bin Laden talking to his boys in this van. Now, Al-Qatala is a good name, actually, for a terrorist organization like this, because it lets them shorten it to AQ, like Al-Qaeda, but without the actual burden of the real politics or whatever, so good job there. And they're about to do some terrorist things, and then they cut it right as the tension's at its peak, and I'm always a sucker for that. But odd font choice here, considering the aesthetic of the game. And then odder still that they put it in the subtitles, despite the fact you can just read it right there. So we flash back 24 hours earlier to the first mission called Fog of War, but we get some issues here already. I know, amazing. One, they say, like, right off the bat that Barkov has mercenaries, and you can shoot them all you want. But if there's Spetsnaz on site, then oh no, you can't do anything. So why couldn't all the bad Russians we shoot in this game just be mercenaries, and then just have Barkov be just some evil Russian guy with deep pockets like Zakhaev, Nikolai, or Makarov? The second problem is the map, with the two proxy nations of Urzikstan and Verdansk. Now, Verdansk is fine as like a Georgia-esque, like, sort of either Georgia, Ukraine, Donbass type country. But I'm confused as to the placement of Urzikstan. It's like an Islamic nation that's a stand-in for Syria, but why not have it be like above Turkey in the Black Sea? Or like be in the Caspian Sea next to where like Chechnya is, which is actually a majority Muslim area. Or like above Iran somewhere. Like literally anywhere else that's snuggled between Russia and Georgia for whatever reason. Anyways, they do the cool thing where they transfer seamlessly into gameplay, and then we get the scene from the real trailer where they're walking through the forest and stuff. So right off the bat, you can tell that the gameplay in Modern Warfare is fucking top-notch. And it has some of the coolest missions in Call of Duty, like, gameplay-wise. It's just that the story is the problem. Speaking of story, White Phosphorus immediately. Here it is. Like, they just told you that Russian military may be on site. So just bomb the place indiscriminately, just because with one of the deadliest weapons ever designed? I'm sorry. They saw a couple guys in the towers, and they were mercenaries, so therefore there's not a single Russian soldier on the base. And so now we're clear for war crimes on demand. That's awesome. Like, why not just have like a normal GBU from an F-35 or something to blow up the gate, and then some important part of the factory to distract the people who were in there? Like, a normal bomb of a plane could be misconstrued as an accident, rather than like a carefully crafted chemical weapon banned from use in warfare. That said, clearing the base is pretty neat, but when the lights go out, that's when it starts to get interesting. Like, when this happened, when I first played it, it really started to feel like a unique experience to me. Like, not only in terms of Call of Duty, but in first-person shooters in general. Like, this feels like a SWAT for spiritual successor, in a way. Just like, the quick movements and everyone's like dashing from side to side, and then you gotta like put them down with single shots and like complete silence.
Oh yeah, baby!
So we find out Spetsnaz are on site, and we just fucking killed them. So what do? Did we take half the team to get all the bodies and burn them, while the other half of the team scours the warehouse to clean for 5.56 casings? No. We just do some test tube shit and then leave. But then this happens. And then this guy gets shot, but he doesn't seem to really care. He just kind of has like a normal conversation with you. And then he gets shot again by this guy who comes up to you and then speaks a foreign language, but sounds like he's like talking like an alien for some reason. I don't know why he sounds like that. So here's a question. I know, so many questions. Mr. Alien Guy says to the other guy that they're already in deep shit for shooting a bunch of Americans. But why not shoot this guy, who's clearly still alive and could report back to his superiors and start an investigation as to who you guys are? But luckily for them, it seems like both Alex and Laswell are more upset by the fact that they stole Zyklon B than the fact that Russians are coming in and are going to find dead Americans alongside dead Russians and white phosphorus on site. So shit's fucked, and then... Oh. Yay.
Awesome.
So the Russians have apparently told us to fuck off, which sure means we're at like DEFCON 2, right? Well, no, we just get a joke about Marines are dumb and don't need intelligence. It's time to talk to Price. Where's Price? Who did he shoot? Who knows? Whatever. Game doesn't tell us. Why does he assume that Russians are the problem when Laswell calls? I mean, because the terrorists are the problem. The guys who stole the gas are the problem, not the Russians, according to them. But whatever. We get some nice dialogue, movie writing, and now we're in London. So we've got Sergeant Garrick on patrol for terrorists in the streets. No snipers for a critical level terror threat, because apparently dudes on roofs would unduly alarm the public. Despite just stating that the terror threat is now at critical levels. Now, the following issues I'm not going to blame on the writers of the game, but instead I'm just going to chalk it up to the fact that Britain is kind of shit now. It doesn't really know how to handle itself anymore with terrorism or policing or anything like that. So it kind of makes sense that such incompetence is taking place. Anyways, one nice transition later, and we have a very well-crafted claustrophobic atmosphere that really makes you feel like you're on... Maybe makes you feel like Spider-Man.
Feel like Spider-Man.
I don't know why these terrorists don't have tinted windows, or why they're just blatantly like waving guns around to these police forces, but I don't know, maybe they're just flexing the fact that they can have guns and British police can't. Anyway, so these guys get out, the van speeds off, and okay, we've seen weapons on these people already. That guy's wearing a tactical mag vest, but we can't shoot them until the van explodes. Now Piccadilly is actually a really good level, with all the civilians and the like normally dressed terrorists causing havoc in this hella chaotic scenario. I'm not gonna lie, when I first played this I was role-playing a hell of a lot, and having the pistol at the start when you're going up against like AKs and PKMs is like a really good way of demoralizing the player and making them feel vulnerable as they go up against this more coordinated force. The claustrophobic nature carries on through the whole level, and it's great. Although we do have this a bit unrealistic part here where we've got normal British cops with weapons, which that doesn't happen anymore. Then Garrick's able to lift this entire door, but then he's slowly overpowered by some shitter in a beanie for like a quick second. But then Price comes in to save our new Jake from State Farm. And I just want to say real quick that people that got upset about Price having a new voice doesn't really make any sense, because one, it's a reboot, so new actors are fine, and two, the new Price fits his role perfectly, and which, I mean, that part of that is due to the dialogue. But I mean, I don't know, I feel like in some places he does a better job than the original Price does. So we follow Price into the building, he says a COD 4 line, and then we get a Hurt Locker reference. Then Price throws him off the banister, and then he explodes. Alright, cool, mission over. So we get Garrick being angry face in this cutscene that I will hold him to throughout the rest of the game. I mean, I like how Garrick gets mad about how they're underprepared for a scenario like this, but I wish like the devs like had the balls to actually have him be like, yo, the British government's fucking shite at doing its job. But then again, if they mention stuff about migrants or whatever, they'd be considered Islamophobic.
Oh, shut up. Who cares?
But anyway, so we got another problem here. Is that Garrick talks about how in order to properly fight terrorism, you gotta go all out and get your hands dirty. Sometimes do some fucked up shit in order to protect your own people. And I mean, this is a good scene, but as we'll see later, he doesn't really hold up that ideal. So now we get to probably the worst level in the game. Or at least it's my least favorite level. So you know how Russia's like rightfully pissed at us for shooting their guys? What does Laswell and the CIA do to fix this? Send in Alex undercover to fight alongside terrorists against the Russians in not Syria. And then here enters Farah. Okay. So this dipshit walks into probably one of the most dangerous countries on the planet right now with a plate carrier, no helmet, and an American flag patch. This guy's supposed to be undercover, and he's wearing very obviously Western gear. What a good idea. So now we're gonna work with the people who will fucking kill him, unless he's like, yo, this guy in the boonie hat and the mutton chops knows me, lol. And then, to add to his infinite wisdom, he just starts listing off classified information to a terrorist cell. I mean, at this point, why not give them some Stinger missiles so they can help their pals in the Mujahideen fight off the Soviets? I don't see that backfiring at all. Like, there's literally no reason for him to mention the fact that the gas was stolen and that that's a big deal to you guys. Like, literally just show her a picture of Price sipping some tea and be like, I know this guy. I'll help you out a little bit. Also, nice having 2 subtitles again for the same thing. And so begins the propaganda.
Liberal media strikes again!
Where Alex says that Farah's people and AQ are the same in the eyes of the Russians. Which makes sense, as we'll see in a bit. We already see it in the fact that they'll just shoot a CIA operative. Although, granted, he's kind of asking for it at this point. But then Farah's like, Al-Qaeda and the Russians are both terrorists. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is the most, like, preachy, pretentious garbage ever. Like, I don't know who in Infinity Ward has a Russian hate boner so much, but, like, again, just have her be like, these are not the Russian army by any means. General Barkov and his men are a whole other breed from the normal Russian military. He's an authoritarian bastard who wants to rule my people for his own gain. Or something like that. Like, something to make it seem like not everyone who wears a fucking Russian flag is an awful person. So Farah snaps at Alex a bit by saying he's just helping them for America's own gain, which it's true. And that is why being directly involved with these kind of people is a bad idea, because they're using the US in the exact same way. The Mujahideen did it, so why wouldn't Farah's people do it? So the mission is like a little freeform Hitman style open world mission type thing, where you plant C4 on some spots to kill some officers and draw attention away from the base you're going to terrorist up later. You get disguised up and you walk outside and you're welcome to City 17. I mean, it might as well be City 17 because we've got the Combine here doing Combine things, and we've got Dr. Breen here taking away breeding rights from people. Like, look at this, literally, like women in Urzikstan are not allowed to breed because Barkov doesn't want terrorists being born, or whatever garbage they came up with for this. Honestly, like, the Russian version of this game is better than the Western version when it comes to the campaign, because the Russian version actually lists these guys as Barkov's troopers instead of Russian soldiers, because that differentiation needed to be made. And now we get Barkov's guys competing with the North Koreans from Homefront for the most irredeemably evil villains ever, in a scene that's actually very similar to the opening of Homefront. Alex, the CIA operative, comments on how these guys hanging people is
a goddamn war crime.
Meanwhile, he works for the fucking CIA and also casually called in white phosphorus on an enemy encampment 2 missions ago. Call of Duty seems to have a thing for this lately, in which they like blatantly just like call out things for like, this is a war crime, and it calls out the enemies for doing fucked up shit, but then it doesn't make the player wonder if they are also doing war crimes, and nor does it stop them from performing them on their own. Like, Call of Duty World War II did this when the Germans lynched some civilians in the middle of a mission, and then Aiello's like,
This is a war crime.
No shit, college.
and then in the next fight, the Germans surrender, you can just fucking shoot them with no penalty. So we get more Half-Life 2 with Dr. Breen on the loudspeaker to the whole Ramaza map, and like, he hates the West for some reason. Although, if anything, at this point, he and the West have more in common because we both don't want terrorists bombing our countries. We recreate that bit from All Gilead Up, but none of the tension. And then we do it again with none of the tension. Farah spouts some stuff about how people die when they are killed, and then the mission ends. Whatever. So now it's time for the actual fucking terrorist attack on the Russian airbase. We do some neat shit with these little airplanes that probably wouldn't work in real life because... Wait a minute. Okay. This guy's about to assault this Russian base wearing his normal combat gear with a plate carrier and a US flag patch? We were already about to get into World War III with Russia over this gas shit, and now we have fuck-ass McMike working with terrorists to shoot Russians with NATO gear on and an American flag patch. If he gets shot, or a Russian drone sees his ass, they're gonna be like, hey yo, Drumpf, what's up with this? So, we storm through the river, and then it plays this sound, which I'm a sucker for because it's from Call of Duty 2. Keep calling these little RC planes, but you'd think that a military air base would have like some sort of air defenses. Like, granted, I don't think the Russians have Iron Dome CRAM shit that the US does, but I mean, like, it's gotta do something.
Incoming, incoming, incoming.
Another gripe I have is these AKs. Like, they have all this battle damage and like rust on them, even though these are supposed to be what the Russian soldiers are using. So they should be like standard issue, like hot off the conveyor belt from the factories. But they're the same. They look exactly the same as our militia rifles. And then, for some reason, it labels them as AK-12s, even though they're clearly just AK-74s with some mods on them. And then, the AK-74U barrel doesn't change the iron sights, like the rear iron sights, to actually fit an AK-74U. Also nice for the Russians to have Scar H's, AUGs, and M870s in their armories. That makes a lot of sense. Very nice. So we massacre our way through like a dozen or so battle-trained Russian regulars, but then Far's brother Hadir is like, Hobby Lobby ran out of Gorilla Glue because American women keep putting it in their hair for money so we can't launch any more planes. Can you help us, Alex? And Alex is like, yeah, sure. So he radios in to his CIA boys for some assistance, and they say, yeah, I'll be on station soon, don't worry about it. We get inside the hangar, and there's some guys hiding in this armory, and are rightfully freaking the fuck out because a random group of just some yahoos with old-ass Kalashnikovs just rampaged into their base and killed everybody. One guy even is like, you want to show up online with your head getting chopped off? Which, like, at this point, Farah's forces aren't acting that much different from AQ, so the Russians are rightfully scared that if they get captured, they're gonna get executed on the internet or something. Now we have to fight off the Russians cornering us in this hangar because Farah's bad at strategy. But then Alex's air support comes to the rescue, and it's an Apache gunship. Laswell's like, oh, it's unmarked, but what other country uses Apache gunships other than the US, Britain, and like Israel, which are all countries that aren't too friendly with Russians? And like, they don't even have it flying like 30 miles away like they do in real life, so that way they can't actually get spotted. They're just like a block away from the airbase. It's okay. You'd think some of the retreating soldiers are going to be like, hey, General Barkov, sir, we saw some random white dude in a chest rig during the assault on the airbase, and he called in an Apache that fucked us all up. I think the US might be involved in this somehow. Alright, whatever, enough with that shit. It's time for Clean House! This is what I mean by this game has some of the best gameplay in the series. This mission's fucking sick. Anyways, now that the fun's over, we get back to our regularly scheduled playable CNN broadcast, where Farah's like,
the invaders of my country have no regard for human life.
well, which is like, well, clearly they do have a regard for human life, because Barkov is acting the way he is because he doesn't want Russia to get attacked from terrorist forces in Urzikstan. So he clearly cares for Russian lives. Also, we're saying that the Russians are using gas, even though the real-life narrative getting pushed is that the Syrian government is the one using gas against their own people, not the Russians in Syria. Also, why not have, like, Urzikistani government military or something fight alongside the Russians like they do in the multiplayer? Anyways, it's time for another COD 4 reference, where we got Griggs, who's also on the hate train for Russians, I guess. Like, why are the US Marines so mad at the Russians, too? What about this picture of us sharing gummy worms? Also, is Devil Dog, like, copyrighted or something? Why do we have to call them demon dogs? Why is this whole game just a great value version of all the cool shit from the past? I do get a lot of COD 4 and MW2 vibes from this mission, but unfortunately it's very linear, and it doesn't have like a lot of sandbox type levels from those games. However, that said, the hospital stock is pretty fun. It's too bad that it's not like randomized every time you play it, like 6 Days in Fallujah. Now it's time for another highlight of the campaign with the embassy mission. We have a confusing bit where the wolf like hints at Far being like his daughter or something, or is that just like, oh, brother, cousin, like not actually like familial, but it's just like an endearing thing? I don't know. He foreshadows here being a bad boy, and then we meet the butcher, and then fall out of a helicopter because of his awful fashion sense. Also, I'm upset that we have to play fake Jake from State Farm in this mission, because it's supposed to be like an American power fantasy of like defending the US Embassy in Libya, but we have to play as this British guy, and like he's not even properly kitted out for this scenario. Like, he doesn't have a helmet on, he doesn't have gloves, he doesn't have like contacts or any other hearing protection. So like it really hurts seeing him go down this fast road with no gloves on. So we see General Butch with his BBC on PAWG, and then we get our big controversial moment where he shoots a guy and his kid. But you can tell that the smoke the kid runs into obscures him enough for the butcher to clearly miss, because look at that. After that, we get this section, which on higher difficulties makes the veteran difficulty grenade spam in World at War seem like LEGO Star Wars by comparison, and how much you die here unless you hide behind the boxes like a pussy. Really wish you put on a helmet there, Kyle. Then there's this cool Watch Dogs-esque bit where we have to guide this lady through the embassy. I mean, it's a fun section, but I really wish you could skip it on repeat playthroughs. But anyway, after that we get this neat shooting bit with the bulletproof glass, and it really shows off how nice the ragdolls are in this game when you shoot people. So we leave the embassy to go back to the embassy? Like, I'm not too familiar with the floor plans of the actual Libyan embassy, but are you sure you have to like walk through some rando's like alleyway to get to the ambassador's house? So now it's time for the 13 Hours movie, just with more Sasuke. And just like in the Piccadilly mission, we see people clearly moving with weaponry just blocks away from an embassy under siege, but we're just like, let's not shoot him or something. So yeah, it's basically the 13-hour scene, but we're using Illium rounds instead of NVGs because Mr. Garrick forgot a helmet that could carry such things. They give you a fake out with this guy in his car to make you shoot him, which, like, man, I did, I don't care. Then you use the drone on this Battlefield 4 building, and then you start getting shelled from this position that's clearly visible from the armory roof we were just on.
Guard, go with the deer.
No, literally give me anyone else besides him. So you head back to the ambassador's residence, and you get sandwiched between AQ on both sides somehow, and then you see that they captured the wolf back. Okay, cool, whatever, next mission.
There is only one road, Tariq al-Maut, the highway of death. The Russians bombed it during the invasion, killing the people trying to escape.
Fuck off. So blah blah blah, Hadir somehow created an anti-material sniper rifle by himself. We get a one-shot, one-kill reference from COD 4, fruit killing skills, shoot tires, awesome.
Russian mix!
These are clearly Sukhoi frogfoots, but whatever. You get overrun, and then, oh no, Hadir is bad, next mission. Now it gets even worse. We get Baby Farah stars in Russian Nazi Kristallnacht, Haditha Massacre. Let's just ignore the fact that the Marines did this in the Iraq War for revenge, not the Russians. Which, I mean, granted, we didn't gas the people, but this is all just overblown for the sake of making them look evil. Hey, white helmets, perfectly good people, no shady shit with them, real heroes. However, if we're going to talk about heroes, the real hero here is this guy. This mission's actually pretty cool from a gameplay perspective. It's like back in like middle school or high school when you'd fantasize about being the like hero guy who stops like the school shooter or something and end up like saving everyone. We get more ham-fisted, controversial, bloodthirsty, Slavic-sponsored massacring. Then we shoot some dudes with a revolver, which is pretty fun because the animators over there at Infinity Ward are gods among men. Child thinks he can actually drive a fucking troop transport truck, and then Barkov is Barkov. Also, wait a minute. This mission takes place in 1999. The Soviet Union fell in like 1991. You expect me to think that they could have invaded a country like this in the aftermath of the US doing Gulf War shit? The Russians were still bothering with the end of the Bosnian War and the war in Kosovo. They didn't have time or the money to invade not Syria, let alone occupy and genocide it. Like, the war in Kosovo was a time of cooperation between the US and Russia. Listed as one of the few successful NATO-Russian operations since, like, World War II. I feel like it would have been a bit weird to have that going on at the same time as their ethnic cleansing of Middle Eastistan. Then again, the US has them snuggling in bed with China with all their Muslim business and the concentrating thereof, so I mean, who knows. Next mission. They give Farah fucking execute authority under US military jurisdiction? And then the guy from Tenet is like, Bonjour bravo, oh no. And then they have like their Marvel Avengers Assemble moment. Why does Price have so much faith in Farah? Who knows? Why is Farah like the purest soul on the planet? Who knows? There's literally a line in this game where they say, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. And Farah says that she's not helping Alex to keep her word to him, as if to hint that she's not interested in helping the US, so why trust her this much? They attack the Russian base like AQ does. And do they not know that the US will occupy their nation the same as the Russians do once they kick them out of there? Minus the overtop villainy of it. That's why the Marines were there in the first place, was to stop the wolf for like a Bin Laden tie-in. Speaking of Bin Laden, the Wolf's Den, which is more Clean House. It's a recreation of the Bin Laden compound raid, which is rad. So, are we playing this as like Navy SEALs or MARSOC or something, like we did in the beginning? No, we play it as the fucking British again, for some reason. So now we swap to Alex. Why couldn't we have played as Alex during the Clean House part of the mission? Anyways, we do the Black Ops 1 tunnel scene again, and then we meet the Wolf. They do another Hurt Locker reference with this, like, cage bomb type thing. And then we see Garrick and Alex being pals for a second. Back at the FOB, Laswell has to break the news to the group that working with the locals usually doesn't end up too well after we give them weaponry and tactics. Because like General Shepard said,
yesterday's enemies are today's recruits. Train them to fight alongside you, and pray they don't eventually decide to hate you for it too.
Fake Jake is immediately pissed, and then Price gets mad too. The CIA pretty boy spouts some nonsense as if he actually believes the CIA helps people or something, and then gets upset that he has to take orders. Like, listen man, if you didn't want to blindly follow orders and do immoral shit, you probably shouldn't have joined the fucking Central Intelligence Agency. Don't give me this bullshit about wanting autonomy and expect me to actually think it's a decent character arc. It's worse than Pac from Battlefield 4 suddenly showing up at the end of the game and then being like, oh, I can swear now because bad things happened to me. But then Alex has the self-awareness to know that, like, everything we do is illegal, and then basically goes AWOL, which should just earn him a bullet in the back of the head as soon as he leaves the tent for desertion. Everyone pouts and throws a fit like they're 5 years old. Like, literally, like, look at Garrick. He's like, well, I hate you. We can do what we want. We're big boys. Only the good things we do are illegal. Are you sure about that, mate? Yeah, invading a country on the idea that you can destroy an ideology for revenge and lay waste to an entire region of the world with no real declaration of war against a real government really is a good thing.
Tap the brakes. Well, there's plenty we can do.
So we get waterboarded and like a bunch of whatever. Just get to the shooting, please. I really like how they actually bothered to have the animations show that she's less experienced in this level. Like, I really wish that more games did this, where like you could see the progression of a character's like training with firearms, like through their animations and speed and stuff. This guy right here. Just make all of Barkov's men look like this guy, and then have the nice Russians look like this guy. Also, this guy's like, don't shoot, please! After she and her posse just mowed through a platoon of guys. We get Beardless Price, which looks kind of weird, but whatever, mission over. Next mission is finally another good one. We get our boy Nikolai with our quote-unquote host nation weapons, and in Russia being P-320s and Desert Eagles. And then the Butcher's still wearing his fucking jersey from the embassy for whatever reason, while everyone else is well dressed for the Russian cold.
Piccolo, you have no sauce, none. You ain't getting no draw, none at all.
The environment design in this mission is really spot on. Like, it's got a very like good lived-in, rundown post-Soviet quaintness to it. It's really cool.
Привет.
Привет. Доброе утро. That's not bad. So like up.
Also, this mission just proves Barkov's point, because we got these terrorist guys who just like snuck into Russia, and they're about to do a gas attack, which is exactly what Barkov's trying to prevent. We get a fun chase through the city streets, and then Nikolai off the top rope!
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
I do find it a tad unrealistic how there's all this gunfire in the street, and yet FSB isn't already here with machine guns and APCs laying waste to everything involved. So we take the Butcher back to our little safe house, and then we get Yegor from the multiplayer doing his thing. But one problem with him that we'll get to in a bit, as with Garrick, who, speaking of which, gets Piss Baby again, but Price is able to calm him down because he's Price, and he has to, because he's Price. You go out and talk to Nikolai, who's just such a lovable man in this scene with his...
Truth serum.
Please,
Bargaining
please let us
chips.
go. We know nothing.
For negotiation.
This scene is great, and it's what the game needed more of, is this morally gray stuff that was promised to us. Granted, you can't really go all the way with it if you're being a really sadistic guy that day. But I mean, maybe if Alex was here, Mr. CIA could do some waterboarding. What doesn't make sense though is that Yegor pussies out. In the bio for him in multiplayer, he's described as like this big cool gangster man, Ukrainian Russian gangster and all that. So like threatening families and shit should be like Tuesday for him, but he's like, no, Mom said not to use hostages as leverage. No, don't. I have to leave. Everything is settled, and Nikolai says that if Hadir kills Barkov, it'll start a world war. Okay, how? How does a Russian general dying to some random Islamic radical result in thermonuclear hellfire being traded between the superpowers? Is it because the CIA was involved with him? Wonder what we could have done to avoid that. And now comes the scene I have the biggest issue with. You know how I said I was going to hold Garrick to his ideals? It's time for that. In this cutscene, he acts like what they did was some inexcusably evil thing that was some line they never should have crossed.
Boss, what the hell are we doing here?
We're cleaning up a mess.
With women and children.
They were leverage.
They were hostages.
When you take the gloves off, you get blood on your hands, Kyle.
We got blood. We got to take blood. The gloves off, Garrick.
That's how it works.
Where do we draw the line here, sir?
You draw the line wherever you need it, Sergeant.
Like, you as the player tell Price, I'm in. And Garrick sounds hyped for it.
I'm in, sir.
He's like, oh, hell yeah, we're gonna go fucking shoot this kid in the head to make him give us some information. Garrick in Piccadilly says that there should be no rules of engagement and they need to take the bloody gloves off. But now he's like, dude, no, that's me. No, stop it. I guess you could make the claim that, like, he's, like, feeling remorse for his words, like, going back on it, but I don't think Call of Duty writing is smart enough for that. At least not in a Modern Warfare game. If this was Black Ops 1, then maybe. Anyways, Price rams through a Russian security checkpoint in a cop car with like no consequences as a result of it for some reason. Anyways, it's going dark time. We get the reveal trailer again, except it's just the two of us. Which, I mean, like, we can make it if we try, just the two of us. This is a neat mission because it combines the clean house with the Hitman open world mission with the C4 and stuff. And like, light's an important factor, and it feels a little bit like Cliffhanger from Modern Warfare 2, with having someone back you up from afar and having to rely on your HUD to make sure the enemy doesn't detect you. It's pretty cool. It's revealed that AQ is at Barkov's manor and they're torturing his family members for info, and that's bad for us somehow. Also, Gary figures out it's Barkov's family after the third hostage is rescued, despite the first two already saying stuff about how they won't betray their family and how their family will come for them. We find Hadir and he has the gas production blueprints and he plans to destroy the facility. Okay, great. Took care of that. Let's get out of here. We are then a soldier that is on their feet and is leaving. And then we escape the compound and meet Laswell. Laswell tells us that we have to give Hadir back to the Russians, which I don't understand why that's a big deal still. Like, hand him over, shoot him, why does it matter what happens to him? Or with Farah? Like, the whole game plot is pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, except for the fact that, oh dude, we're totally gonna get into World War III because of these random fucking guys. This is what COD 4 did leagues better. Like, the conflict had a reason for us to care. Russian Civil War. Zakhaev wants to get revenge on the West for the fall of the Soviet Union. We want the loyalists to stay in power. Al-Fulani is killed in Saudi Arabia. Al-Assad must go. This game, again, we hate Russia for some reason. some Russian general wants to gas Syrians. And like, is that something to start World War III over? And is this random freedom fighter so important to us that we all have to go AWOL and refuse to get him to the Russians for? As long as Barkov doesn't attack or threaten Israel, I don't see why you have to get involved in the Middle East to stop him. Price goes to make peace with Farah and get her on board for the final mission. Alex is just hanging out, again, AWOL, it's just a CIA operative, you know. Not like they'd have him JFK'd the second he drops off the map. Their excuse to get Farah to go along is that since her groups are terrorists, the West won't be blamed if the gas factory is destroyed. Exactly. So why is it a problem if Hadir does whatever the fuck Hadir does? So it's a great plan, right? We're gonna invade Georgia, for some reason the illegal Russian gas facilities in Georgia, with just them, get some inside help from the Nikolai and like the other Urzikstan forces, and then the US and the UK are blameless, right? Nah. Alex has his US flag patch still. Garrick and them all have their fatigues. They have a fucking Bradley and a drone. You think just one guy is gonna be like, hey boss, we found a United States M3A3 Bradley attacking our illegal gas production facility. By the way, we detected an MQ-9 Predator drone on radar, and it's shooting Hellfire missiles at us. I think the West has something to do with this. Well, Barkov's boy's using Blackhawks, so what do I know about this whole clusterfuck? Barkov is at the compound instead of just some base in Urzikstan or back in Russia. He's on the radio talking about how they're being attacked. You'd think that he could, you know, contact the rest of the Russian military and tell them about how they're attacking his facilities, since I guess nobody in Russia really cares that he has illegal gas production facilities or something. Nobody thought to pay attention to like the expense chart that month when he built it. We fight our way inside, and then we meet Big Fucker McMike, who's actually a pretty fun boss to fight. They get to the production lab, and Alex secures himself as a bottom boy by demanding Farah order him to kill himself for her. They do some fucking soppy dumb shit I don't care about. Let's have Kyle shoot some dudes with a minigun. Farah stinks onto Barkov's chopper somehow, and then he chokes you for like the 4th time in the game. He speaks to you despite being stabbed through the throat, and then you make a little dialogue choice to make you feel good about yourself and not feel like you just wasted the past 4 hours of your time playing through some pretty shit propaganda. Like, you're not immune to propaganda, I get it. Black Ops 1 had a pretty balls to the wall America fuck yeah ending compared to this, and it was still great, cause I don't know, it was a Cold War, you know. This is just some like yay globalism, but fuck Russia, haha. So the game ends. Shepard's mentioned. Price does some Marvel shit and name drops Task Force 141. Garrick does to Gaz what Jake from State Farm did to Jake from State Farm and becomes the token minority to meet the diversity quota.
Garrick, your name is Gaz. Why are you black in this game?
Fantastic. Wonderful. Let's talk about the rest of the game that isn't awful. Okay, let's get co-op out of the way real fast. Which, that's the exact same thing that Infinity Ward said when they were developing it. Okay, so we got Armored Core, Dark Souls, and then an Affront to God. Well, I called this Armored Core and this Dark Souls based on their difficulty. But the difference between Armored Core and Dark Souls in the Spec Ops mode is that Armored Core and Dark Souls are actually fun games that I enjoy playing, so it's not quite an accurate comparison. I'm not going to bother going into any of these because everyone already knows they're a waste of time, and I can barely be bothered to play them. Quick gripe, however, we have Zakhaev's Russian soldiers, who look identical to Barkov's Russian soldiers, who look identical to normal Russian soldiers, Milsim, or whatever, who you can play as, which makes it real confusing. I will be talking about survival mode, which is also a waste of time. Not only to play, But in terms of waiting a fucking year to play it because of the whole exclusivity deal and shit. The only upside right now is at the time of writing, it's like the only way to access any of the DLC guns, like the Scorpion and this Sig Sauer SMG. I had hopes that it would be at least as good as Modern Warfare 3 survival mode, because it's like the first time they've done that, but no. There's nothing unique about this mode, like perk drops, unique enemies, or exclusive kill streaks like the Delta Squad or the Riot Shield dudes. At least it wasn't like Advanced Warfare's survival mode, where they put in like the mini objectives that were awful and broke up the pacing. But it's still like nowhere as good as Modern Warfare 3, which I don't see why it's so hard to just copy that over. Like, it's not even that groundbreaking of a horde mode. Like, if Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward can make their own zombies modes that can be like at least like on par with World at War zombies, they should be able to make a good survival mode like Modern Warfare 3's. Okay, now it's time to get to the good shit. It's time to talk about multiplayer. I haven't hit numbers like this, like, ever in a previous Call of Duty game. Like, not even Black Ops II, or Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 3. Now, granted, you could say that a lot of this comes from grinding the battle passes, and couldn't actually be labeled as, like, gameplay time that I enjoyed playing. But I'm the kind of person that, like, can't stand grinds unless I'm actually having fun while doing it. And Modern Warfare manages to be fun, even when I'm pulling my hair out, trying to reach tier 100 to unlock this sick-ass skin. This is largely in part due to the unbelievably cool animation, sound design, and just overall production value. Like, this single game has raised the industry standard for how games should look and play. Even in its own series, it's now a pedestal over everything else, because the games that release afterwards have inferior gameplay and animations to this, and as a result is less enjoyable. It's probably the most tactical game on the market right now. Minus Tarkov, but I'm talking about like more like casual and accessible games. Also, it's a Call of Duty game that has shown relevant restraint in terms of wacky cosmetics since Black Ops II. Yeah, we got pixel guns and tracers and like weird gore shit and this guy from Saw and vampire bats, but we've also got really cool realistic stuff like these all the way up to the end of the game's intended lifespan. And even the wacky shit like isn't nearly as bad as the stuff we got in Black Ops IV and World War II and Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare. I am mad about this OK hand sign thing, like 4chan. Like, good on you guys for being able to fool people, but also go to hell, because it means they got rid of the OK hand sign because they thought it was white power, and now I can't use it anymore, and it's funny. The introduction of Gunsmith makes me fucking cum. Like, I wish they'd balanced it a bit more to where the choice between accuracy and speed was a bit more of a drastic one, because we still got the problem of people slapping a long barrel on a Grau, taking the stock off, and they're still able to laser people. Like, taking the stock off on a gun should have hindered the recoil way more than it actually did. It also shouldn't have taken up a customization slot. That's kind of stupid. Just like make entirely different guns out of other guns. Like I can make a 74 out of an AK-47 or a 74U out of an AK-47, which again, the iron sights are kind of fucked up, but I mean, you know, you can make a 9mm M4, and they added some really crazy shit with the Psychov drum mags and whatever, which is hella unbalanced, but I mean, props on them for adding all this variety and customization. Like, games haven't done this in like a long time. The good thing about Gunsmith is that Pick-10's gone and is only done for the weapons, because like Pick-10 was like okay for like Black Ops 3, but like then Advanced Warfare did it and Infinite Warfare did it, and they kept doing it, and I was like, we need to stop doing Pick-10, guys. We got 10 custom classes, Well, originally we had 5, but then they added it to 10. And we didn't have to prestige or do any, like, grinding for that, which was nice. You can switch in between them in-game, like, real quick with the numpad if you're on PC, which, Cold War, you can't do that. I don't know why. You can edit them in-game as well, but I wish you could, like, customize your cosmetics, like your reticles and, like, your camos and stuff. With the Gunsmith, you can legitimately, like, make builds. There's different ammo choices and all these different attachments that have pros and cons most of the time. And you make some interesting weapon setups, like stuff like this or this. But then the meta flip-flops now and then as to whether or not it wants to allow creativity, or you're just going to get lasered by this or this. Hopefully paint jobs from Black Ops 3 and the Emblem Creator comes back at some point, but like, I don't know, it probably never will, because corporations just assume that creative expression now equals like guaranteed racist hate speech and other garbage like that. It's not like there's a report function or some other like proctoring system to make sure people don't do that, or like the people who do get banned from using it. We got all the classic Killstreaks back from like Modern Warfare 2 and stuff, albeit again in great value form. We got some like F-15 Harrier hybrid for the VTOL.
I'll let you go out in style!
We got the AC-130, which looks more like a C-17. But I mean, we got the Apache and the SU-25, but they're used no matter what faction you're on. Like, come on guys, Modern Warfare 2 got that right. The attack chopper was either a Cobra or a Hind. The chopper gunner was either an Apache or a Havoc. And I mean, like, some Brazilian dudes managed to get their hands on an AC-130, but like, you know. So, speaking of factions using the wrong tech, we have Mi-17s dropping off Coalition fighters and Blackhawks, fast-roping Allegiance forces. I do find it funny though how Farah is on the quote-unquote bad guy side, fighting alongside the Russians and J-12 no less. Speaking of Farah, why not look at the operators? They wisely have moved away from the specialists of Black Ops and the weird class thing that World War II did, and instead they just let you pick whoever you like while keeping the loadout you want. They got some cool dudes like these guys, and then they got some really fucking shitty dudes like this guy. Milsims are the best boys. I just wish we didn't have to wait until like Season 3 to get content for them, and even then we really didn't get that much. However, I suppose it's like a quality over quantity thing with these. Too bad the Shadow Company guys don't have their garbled radio voices like they did in Modern Warfare 2 for this nostalgia factor. I do like how the default Russian sniper though is like an Asian Russian from like Kazakhstan or something. Okay, we'll start with SAS. We got Edgelord Fuckass, like with like again great value version of him from Modern Warfare 2, and this really garbage looking mask. He sounds like a tired old man in his 50s, when in Modern Warfare 2, Ghost was like a raring to go like younger guy, like a bit of a hothead. But in this, he's like, oh, I got a mask and I look like a homeless person. We got a choice between Bloods and Crips, so good inclusivity here.
Dog fucking monkey thing.
Take your bloody fire!
Watch it, you muppet!
We got the big man himself with his funny execution. They sealed the deal. They called him Gaz. They gave him the OG outfit. And they're bringing Soap back at some point. He looks pretty average. His voice is eh. Maybe for the Modern Warfare 3 remaster they'll do the same thing they did with Ghost and have like a throwback skin with his Africa outfit where he actually looks like good. This guy could have been cool if he had some better skins. Something like this, but with a different helmet and like not his generic shades.
Shit.
And then we got Coach from Left 4 Dead 2 with some good skins and some funny lines. We got some fucking hobo from New Mexico wearing like a bandana and a trash bag. They have this crackhead who looks like shit except for this one good skin that they have, and he yells a lot, which is pretty cool. Fuck off! She could have been great. Like Asian girl, hell yeah, I'm all for it. But there's a problem here. Like you should have given her like a balaclava or something to go along with, say, CH. Then she would have been great. This guy should have had more skins like this way sooner. Too bad he sounds like he smokes 40 packs of cigs every hour and doesn't have more of a stereotypical German voice. I don't understand why they messed up her appearance so much in terms of her face, because she doesn't really look like the actual actress. But I mean, you know, she's got these. What a pal. Genuinely great guy. I don't know why they gave him the War Pig skin. Like, this would have been great on D-Day. Would have been a perfect fit. Sadly underutilized with only like 2 skins for him. This dude survived the explosion and only lost his leg. I thought it was funny how people were getting mad at the devs because they thought they were trying to pull like a Battlefield 5 with the prosthetics and stuff. But then the devs were like, nah, this is actually a real guy who fights with a prosthetic leg. Which is pretty cool. Regardless of my opinion of him in the campaign, he's fun to run in multiplayer and he's got some funny lines.
Kiss my ass.
For the Russians, we got Beefcake. J12 man, who's a chum with his dual wielding and his raw ass kill moves.
So easy to break!
Welcome to the good skin department, what can I get you? What a friendly boy. His bio is probably the best one in the game, and he's got great voice lines.
Enemy in Charlie, go!
Because he's basically just an Ameribu who loves cheesy 80 action movies. And he does like movie star shit where he just lists off random movie things. He's basically Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid 3. He's a big dork. I don't know, Russian edgelord, I don't care. He looks cool though. I hate him because of the Midas Touch golden skin. It sucks and he's boring.
I am black.
I don't know, man. Cool shades, but the jackals are just pretty fucking lame overall. A surefire way to label the user as a toxic asshole running flame shotguns in the meta SMG for that season. On shipment.
I don't know what this is.
Okay, before we go any further, let's just have a completely unrelated talk about Call of Duty Zombies. Call of Duty Zombies is pretty cool. It's got great characters, as long as it's the original gang with the transit crew. One great character in particular, though, that I like is Nikolai. You know, like, why not have a neat little crossover between Modern Warfare and COD Zombies, like for Halloween or something, maybe? I have a character that'd be perfect for a Nikolai cosplay. Big, strong character. Very imposing, feared by many. Exactly! Next. Her little head nod is cute. That's it. Fun guy gets to shoot dudes. He has a weird nose, but he gets some nods and shit, so good for him. I don't care about people who are like, well, her skin is too hard to see in Warzone. No, the Merc skin's fucking cool. This skin in particular is cool. This one, sure, yeah, get rid of it, I don't care, but keep this one. This one's awesome.
Tap the brakes.
This guy's nice because when I accidentally shoot him, he doesn't get mad at me. Some more new shit that really got me going, like in the beta, was the introduction of Ground War. With the failure of Battlefield 5, Call of Duty was like standing on the doorstep ready to fucking murder Battlefield. And Ground War seemed like it would be that kill shot. Large maps, 64 players, squads, multiple capture flags. Unfortunately, all the maps play like Argonne Forest or Operation Locker levels of linear. And the Call of Duty sandbox just doesn't really lend itself nearly as well to large-scale mechanized infantry battles like Battlefield does. Like, it's a neat experiment, which it didn't really get elaborated on very much in Cold War, which I mean, neither did anything else really. They brought it from Modern Warfare, but you know. So I guess this is as best as we're gonna get it regarding a mode like this, but whatever. They added 10v10 in addition to Ground War, and 10v10's pretty cool. I got this map, Grozny Raid, which is probably the best one. Ground War maps like the Quarry and Downtown had potential if they just got tweaked a bit. If they could have been like Caspian Border or Siege of Shanghai, but on one hand, like there's too many introable buildings and so it just gets chaotic, but at the same time it's also too linear, which also makes it chaotic. And like there's no real sandbox with the vehicles because the only real vehicles that have any worth are the IFV and the helicopter. all of the vehicles are unarmed, except for the Bradley, which is jack of all trades. And then the Little Bird you can like shoot off of with like your normal guns, but that's not really that useful. And people just use it as a taxi to get on top of buildings and stuff. The problem comes from having to balance both the vehicles and the kill streaks and have them be in the game at the same time. Because like you can't have an attack helicopter like Battlefield 4 because the chopper gunner exists. And then you can't have jet combat with like airplanes and stuff because then you get dogfight mode from Call of Duty World War II and you want to tear your balls off with your fingernails. It's just a shame that it doesn't seem like this mode's going to get like developed upon much, because like Cold War, Ground War, or Combined Arms, whatever they call it, isn't good. Like they didn't really elaborate on it much, and because like they could have had Battlefield in a corner here. They could have really like threatened Battlefield's player base, but now that Battlefield 6 or Bluefield or Battlefield 2021 is looking to come out, if they finally reveal the trailer, Battlefield's probably going to be doing fine soon. Some of the maps are pretty cool, and like a lot of them are remakes. Like a lot of the good ones are remakes, but like I don't know. I kind of wish we got more remakes, but at the same time I don't. Like I kind of wish we had like a more like outlandish maps, not like Black Ops. Not like Black Ops. Like Terminal, like maps like that. Like they're more like familiar and like something different from just like bombed out like Middle East place. Like we could have gotten Derail remade for 10v10. Invasion, like that's already in the game on Euphrates Bridge. The maps in London are alright, like the Garden one and Hackney Yard. And then the Piccadilly flip-flops as to whether or not it's like good, depending on if I can do a little trolling on the guys on the second floor if they're camping in there. Speaking of maps, Azure Palace needs to be removed from the game entirely. It sucks. People don't really like the maps in this game, and like I can kind of agree, because like a lot of them are like not very fun to look at, but other ones I actually really like, because I don't know, like the parkour that you can do in this game, you just feel very mobile in this game, and that's a lot due in part to the map design, as opposed to all the 3-lane box covered garbage that we've gotten for the past couple years. They added a night mode where like everyone's using night vision goggles, but like it never really got used much, except for like gun game.
They added gun game, Gark. They added gun game to this game. They added gun game.
And like hardcore modes, but like the vast amount of people like don't experience this that often, and it's a shame, because it's I don't know, I think it's pretty fun. And then they added gunfight, which is actually like a fun competitive mode. Like it's nice to see something other than just, oh, we put in search and destroy, we made a Counter-Strike. No, like this is actually like new and it's fun, because like they're bite-sized matches and you don't need like a whole team to play them. Like you can just do them by yourself. It's just 1v1s, but with like random starts, and it's a good time. It's just unfortunate how Activision just seems to fucking not care about this game anymore. Because Modern Warfare did a lot for Call of Duty. Like, after Black Ops 4, I thought for sure that Call of Duty was fucking dead. But then this came and just fucking turned it all around. Like, they innovated stuff. It's a game that feels like it actually has passion in it, which I don't feel like we've gotten for like a while. Infinite Warfare had passion, but like in the campaign only, I feel. But this game, like the whole thing, with the exception of co-op, just feels solid, and it's awesome. It's great. But Activision only cares about Warzone now, because that's where all the money is, and she doesn't seem to care about Modern Warfare anymore, because we gotta get those Cold War sales, even though Cold War is a fucking mistake. I don't understand why these DLC guns are still not in the game yet. Like, we just got the Makarov or the Psychov, I guess, which I don't know why it's called the Psychov, as if you couldn't get the copyright to the actual name for Makarov, even though it says Makarov right there in the caliber choice. And like, you couldn't have given us like an MP443 or something. Why did you put the Psychov in Modern Warfare? The Makarov is a Cold War era gun. Put that in Cold War, it would have been perfect. And then give us like a GSH-18 or something. Here, yeah, I'll get sidetracked and talk about the weapons a little bit. Again, the copyright. Like, the Vector is called the Fennec. And people had asked Chris, like Chris Vector, people who make the Vector, whatever, I don't know. They're like, oh, did you guys really not let Infinity Ward use the name Vector in Modern Warfare? And they're like, they never asked. So it's literally just Activision being like, don't spend money on copyright or something. I don't understand why they didn't try and get copyright for stuff. You're a multi-billion-dollar company, you can afford it. In a controversial move, you don't show up on the minimap when you shoot anymore. You can only be seen with a UAV. And that made all the pros and the YouTubers and the sweat nerds be like, now I can't get my montage. I can't have my thumbnail with my 6-piece on level 5s who just bought the game. Like, shut up. The game's more interesting now, and like, not as brainless, and like, custom classes are more interesting because you don't need to rely on suppressors anymore, like in Modern Warfare 2 and like every other Call of Duty game. Speaking of pros getting mad, score-based matchmaking is not a problem. It's not an issue. I've never noticed it. It's just a talking point by YouTubers because they want to be able to trash on kids so they can get thumbnails and montages and content and stuff. But like, I've been playing the game for this long, and I've never had a problem with people being like extremely better than me. Same can be said with camping. Like, people, it's like, oh, Modern Warfare's a great game, except for all the campers. It's like, well, one, it's Call of Duty. Do you not think there's gonna be campers in? There've been campers in this game for 10 years, and two, like, all you do is just grab like an SMG or a shotgun and use spotter to get rid of the claymores and like EOD or something. But people have been mad about this, even though there's methods in the game to fix it. And all this just makes the game fun to play. But Activision doesn't seem to care. You launch Battle.net and it just says Warzone. It doesn't say Modern Warfare anymore, it just says Warzone. And then you launch Modern Warfare and it shows up a thing for Cold War. Like, they're just so in denial for how good Modern Warfare was, and they just want to keep pushing their annual release system again. I don't even understand why, because like they're changing up the marketing strategy. Like, they said that Warzone is changing the way that they market Call of Duty, and if the leaks are correct, the next Call of Duty, which is like an alternate reality World War II, which I'm actually seems pretty interesting to me. I like the sound of that. But Sledgehammer can't seem to do their job again, just like what they did with Cold War. But regardless, let them have more time. Give them another year. Give us Modern Warfare Year 2 with more content, more maps, more guns, and whatever. And just let us play the game that we want to play, and don't shove this inferior product down our throats. Alright. I'll show some cool gameplay because the game's fun. That's my video. Thanks for watching. See ya.